Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFWL Inspirations for Your Life. That's the name of the show, and thanks so much for being here. Whether you're here with me at 10 p.m. at night, 10 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 12 noon, 12 midnight, doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for being here with me. Really do appreciate that. Do check out my hat, believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations that I know you guys definitely want to check out. All right, you guys know that the master topic for the week is understanding fireworks through our life. That's our whole theme for the week, right? But what you may not know is tonight's show is fireworks of relationships. We're on series 3, which means we're in the third year, show 28, episode number 6. This is a sticky one, but it's something all of us face, whether we want to admit it or not. So when we think about relationships, there's lots of fireworks. There's some good and there's some bad. First, the good one is the chemistry, right? When you're meeting that person, significant other, whatever it be, that date, your heart, races in a good way. Maybe you get a little nervous. Your hands a little fidgety. Maybe you get a little warm or sweaty, and these are signs that you're anxious. But when they're good fireworks, like when you're having a conversation with someone, and then it's kind of like causing that feeling in your brain and the rest of your body, that's a good set of fireworks, right? But there are other kinds of fireworks that are bad. We call them things like bad attitudes, right? Like you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way. No, you don't. But people think you do. And so if you have to do something a certain way, that's probably not somebody you want to be in a friendship or a relationship with. All right. So bad attitudes are definitely one thing you want to definitely stay clear of. Dishonesty. Who wants to be around somebody who is going to be dishonest? And you might say, well, everyone's honest. Well, they appear to be honest, right? But maybe they're not really honest. I mean, if somebody seems too good to be true, you want to make sure you do your due diligence because maybe they actually have an ulterior motive. And that motive might be to get you doing things that you may not want to do. So I think that's very, very important. And I think if we can understand what that means, I think it can be a really, really big thing. Um, I think a lot of people just have to understand, what does it mean? And it means an awful lot. It means the fact that we have to not be so quick to jump in. We want to, whether it's platonic or non-platonic, we want to make sure that this relationship is a good thing for all parties concerned, right? We don't want to do something that could harm ourselves or harm the other because that's what would happen if we're dishonest, right? Maybe we're saying we're looking for a relationship, but really we're not looking for the relationship. We're looking for a one night. Or maybe we say that, what we want is somebody that they can have and hold the rest of their life, but we have no interest in that. We just have an interest in moving from moment to moment and just want somebody that's around whenever I'm available. That's not good either. So intimidation, somebody who uses their manipulative power to intimidate you, to get you to do things you don't want to do, to scare you, to put fear in your eyes or your heart. That's definitely a bad thing, right? I think a lot of people don't understand that it does take time. Okay. It takes time to get to know people, and you can't do that overnight. People that are rushing to do it overnight are definitely going to be really disappointed. Okay. So, thinking about intimidation, no one should intimidate you. No one should intimidate. But if we go over to our good friends at Merriam Webster, and we look up what intimidation is, I think it's important to make this clear. Intimidate is a verb, and it's to make timid or fearful or to frighten. So a lot of times people will intimidate you because they don't want you to get to the rainbow. They don't want you to get to the success because they want to get to it before you do, or things of that nature. So they use intimidation to get you to shut down your motivation because they want you to think it's not possible when it really is possible. Another one is psychological abuse. This is a great one. When people say to me, John, what are examples of psychological abuse? There are a lot. humiliating or constantly criticizing somebody, threatening, as we said, shouting at someone, calling them names, making you the center of attention for jokes or sarcasm, specifically with the intent to hurt, blaming or scapegoating, uh, making someone perform acts that are not appropriate. Okay. It doesn't have to just be a child, it could be an adult too. So I think we have to just realize that we need to put out a very good example. Okay. Physical abuse, I don't have to tell you what that is, but maybe you get people in a relationship and they feel that, if they shake you or if they scare you in that way, that you're going to kowtow and don't, because that's an example of domestic violence. Okay. And I want to tell you that if somebody has that problem, they have a severe problem and you should not be with them. I mean, if you want to be with them, great, but you got to make sure they get some help, because that could actually cause you a really dreaded fear. You know what that fear is? The fear is that you could be hurt. The fear is that, you know, um, in addition to everything going on in your life, now you have to worry that you have a lunatic in your life, right? I mean, we all need that, like we need a hole in our head, right? So I think a lot of people have to understand that when something like this happens, like physical abuse or something like this, it's important to document it. It's important to call the person on the carpet and say, "Hey, look, you got to stop this." And if they stop, great. But if they don't, you need to take it to another level. You need to tell someone. You need to file a police report. You need to make sure that you are protected. Okay. If you're somewhere, maybe you're a younger person and you're being intimidated by somebody. Maybe you're being intimidated because you better not dance with that girl or that guy, because if you do, I swear I'll do this. So that's a threat, and that's an intimidation. But physical abuse basically is if you do that and they come after you and they beat you up or they throw you to the ground. Um, that's physical abuse. Okay, so we want to be proactive and not retroactive. If a lot of people did that today, they'd still be alive. All right. So look out for you, because that's what I'm concerned about. Jealousy. Jealousy happens because maybe the person is like frustrated with themselves because they're not where you are. And so they're jealous. So they're not happy when you get a new car. They're not happy when you're in a new relationship. They're not happy when you make money or get clients or uh, get rewarded or revered or given awards. They're not happy for you because they are a selfish person and they are jealous. So people that are jealous, you don't want to hang around them. If it's something that happens once in a while, okay. But if it's a real bad case of jealousy, that's not good. You don't want to be around that. Hostility. So people ask me all the time, John, what is hostility? And so hostility, according to our very good friends over at Merriam-Webster, I'm going to tell you what hostility is. Hostility is another important word, okay? It's a noun. It's a deep-seated, usually mutual ill will, okay? According to Merriam-Webster, hostile action, forced to do something, okay? Conflict, opposition, or resistance in thought or principle. But usually it's the desire for mutual bad will. That's the best way to think of it, all right? So hostility is bad. But you can have more than one of these, right? But when you just have one, you might say, well, gee, that's the problem. A lot of times these come in pairs, right? Communication. Maybe the person you're with doesn't know how to communicate. Or you might say, gee, they never say anything. Well, I got news for you. If they don't communicate, they are communicating because they're a bad communicator because they're not saying anything. So not communicating is communicating. Okay. So that's a real big problem. And arrogance. So what is arrogance? I mean, it's not just found in millennials or teens, but we see it a lot in them. Arrogance, a noun, is an attitude of superiority manifested in overbearing manner or in presumptuous claims or assumptions. I'm this or I'm wealthy or I'm that, but you can be wealthy and you can be confident. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is being able to do what you want to do, to live your life, but it's not stepping on other people. Arrogance is when you have that chip on your shoulder. You know the one that says, I'm better than everybody else. That's what arrogance is. The movie stars out there, because, you're at a function and there's a movie star there and same age as you, but because they're arrogant, they won't dare talk to you because, well, you're not a movie star. Even though you guys maybe went to school together, you're still not a movie star. Athletes are very arrogant. Um, Fans don't want to see arrogance. Okay. Arrogance says that you're better than everybody else. Now, maybe you are better. Okay. But you don't need to shove it down people's throat. That's a big problem with people. I see this with, and I hate to stereotype, but I see it a lot in the financial industry, especially with millennials. They feel that they're like God's greatest gift to the earth and that they can do no wrong and that they're perfect. Well, I got news for you. When you live with that type of mentality, you're going to be, let's say, brought down a few pegs. And so it's always best to be humble. All right. Humble pie always tastes better. So when we're thinking about all these things, fireworks and relationships. So when we think about the good fireworks, so what are good fireworks in relationships? So let's talk a little bit about that for a moment, can we? Sure. So if you want to create the positive type of fireworks, for a good relationship, um, you'll plan a unique date at a certain location that's fun. Um, Maybe you're being flirty, you're setting the mood, you're doing some fun things, you're getting to know the other person. Um, Fireworks in this case are to inspire each other, okay? To feel comfortable and to show forms of love and affection and things like that. So, this is what good fireworks are. Bad fireworks are things like, so that's the good chemistry. The bad fireworks are things like people that have bad attitudes, people that are dishonest, right? Dishonesty, intimidation, psychological abuse, physical abuse, jealousy, hostility, communication, and arrogance. Now, here's the thing. When you think about all these things, it's not that you're going to see something once and it goes away, because that can happen. But when it becomes a repetitive pattern, or when your friends point out to you, hey, are you really going to hang around him? Are you going to really hang around her? I mean, look at how he just treated you. You're better than that. And they're not trying to be arrogant. They're trying to tell you to look out for yourself, because sometimes people don't look out for themselves. We always say, gee, we got to turn the other cheek. But the truth of the matter is you've got to look out for yourself. That is really, 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 really important. I have to tell you that. It is so very, very important. And I want to let you know that arrogance um, couples with a lot of other things like hostility, jealousy, physical abuse, intimidation, dishonesty. It all comes into that same arena because of arrogant. Well, I could do whatever I want, right? And no, you can't. But by doing whatever you want, you think that you can just be whatever you want. Now, I don't mean that you can't be anything you want to be. What I tell you, and I've said this before many times, no one has the right to make you feel inferior about yourself except you. So don't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic evening. I hope you'll like, love, and support the channel. Comment below, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates, share this out with everyone you know on social media. You know what? I'm going to catch you guys real soon on another show, which is tomorrow, where we're going to wrap up everything we talked about when it came to fireworks and hopefully give you a summary of everything and answer some questions, hopefully, but get you to understand that fireworks are present in life. And just like the fireworks that we learned about on Monday, actually, we learned about them on Saturday, the fireworks that we see in the sky, they're not the only place fireworks can be. And if we're proactive, we're able to prevent fireworks from becoming, let's say, an issue, okay, or a real incident. There are good fireworks, which we learned tonight, which is chemistry. Those are fireworks that happen because of our emotions, that happen because of our body, right? Mind. And so when we understand that's a good kind of firework, just like there's some good fireworks outside, as long as we use them safely, then we can kind of understand that the other fireworks are bad, right? Have yourself a great rest of your night, everyone. And I'm going to catch you when? That's right, tomorrow, to summarize and review everything. And by the way, we have a good guest coming up on Saturday. I'm not going to tell you who he is yet. I'll tell you about him tomorrow night. And I'll catch you real soon. Have a good night, everyone.